And we have to stop putting a time limit on grieving. Um, it's going to take as long as it's going to take. And unfortunately, for many of us parents, and you lose a loved one, it lasts as long as it's going to last. It's going to be, for parents, we know it's going to be forever, till we leave this place. So, in talking about it's okay to be okay, it's okay to not be okay. I want everyone to understand that you're going to have good moments, good days, bad days, and that is okay. A lot of times, I think I tell myself as often as I can that uh, I'm okay, and I got tired. At some point, I decided to be honest with myself that no, I'm not. I'm not okay. And for me, I try to distance myself. You parents will distance ourselves so that we don't bring others down, and that's okay. There's some moments that we need to feel, or that you will have to feel, and you need to feel it. Like, you need to go through that moment. Uh, Sometimes it's going to be by yourself, and that's okay. That's okay. You don't have to make an excuse for grief. Grief is love with no place to go. And once you realize that, and you know that you loved your loved one, you loved your son, you loved your daughter with all your heart, right? And we can't make no one can make you feel bad for grieving. It doesn't matter how long it's been. I'm approaching 11 years in April, and this year is particularly extra different for me. And so I've been mentally going through and dealing and telling myself different things that I think I need to do to keep myself focused, especially while doing this. I don't pretend to be better than anyone. I don't pretend to be okay all the time. Some days I am. Some days are like a breeze. I can get through them. And there'll be days for you where it seems like everything is fine. Oh, I started out fine, and you'll have to start over. Anything. It could be a smell. It can be a sound. You can look at a picture, and it'll fall on you. And you take that time, take that moment to grieve. It's okay. And if we normalize grieving, I think we'll do each other a good service. So many times we already, for parents, it's a stigma. People want to walk on eggshells around you. They feel like they can't say certain things, and there are certain things I've shared in another podcast that you should not say. But when it comes to our children, we do want to hear your stories. We do want to know that you remember them. You don't always have to tiptoe around us. And but if you can just take that moment to understand that in that moment we're not okay, and that it's okay that we're not, and just be there. But we have to normalize grieving. There were times when and this can be said about a lot of things in life, period. We fake it to make it, right? And we'll put on this face that, oh, we okay, I'm fine, or whatever, and we're not. And that in itself causes more harm than good, because if you're not careful and depending on the severity of that grief in that moment, there's sometimes when it's not as hard, or it seems like it's light. But if we're not careful, that grief will come out as anger. And so when it does that, we have to be careful just express it. I'm not okay. There's been times when I've been just driving and I've had to pull over, or on my way somewhere to an appointment or something, and I had to just stop and take that moment, take that time that it took, because whether I was by myself or with someone, I took that time. I would pull over or stop what I was doing and shed those tears and feel those feelings. And when it was over and I regained my composure, I went on back to whatever it was I was, about to do. And so I pay attention to those around me, and particularly our children, our surviving children that are left behind, or even the cousins, because we don't want to leave anyone or exclude anyone. Some people have lost their only child, so we want to be mindful of that, to include them as well. And while doing that, we want to understand that they sometimes are alone. And we have to understand that grief is a process, and we have to deal with it accordingly, right? So you deal with it the best way you can. There's no right or wrong way to grieve. You want to grieve in a healthy way as much as possible. I went through, and I'm not ashamed to share this with you. I went through a process where I turned to alcohol, trying to continue to numb it. I didn't want to feel what I was feeling. I wanted to stay numb, and it eventually it didn't work. It stopped. I had to stop, and I can understand that. I can recognize that now, so I'm not ashamed of it. It is what it is. That was my process. Our processes and journeys will not be the same. And but as long as you can admit to yourself, if you get up in the morning and look at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm not okay, that's fine. It's okay to not be okay. You lost your son, you lost your daughter and your son are gone. They're not. There's a forever void in you, in your heart, in your soul. And people, if you're not surrounded by the right people, they will try to make you feel bad for what you're feeling. Why though? Again, it's okay to not be okay. And as soon as we get that in our head, because as parents, I remember, and I still do this every now and then, if depending on what day I've had, kind of day I've had, we pretend, we put on that false face, and we suck it up, and to a degree, it's okay in that you don't want others to feel uncomfortable around you. But like I said, if you have the right people around you, then they'll understand, and they'll know what you need. Give that mom, give that dad that moment. Give them that time to grieve. And it's okay. Tell them it's okay. And so we have to tell each other that it's okay, that right now in this moment you're hurting. You're forever hurt. But in this moment you're feeling it in that intensity that you need to grieve. Grieve. It is completely okay. And so I think that I've spoken with, and I've read in different groups where some parents have had friends and family say some of the meanest things to them, and wanting them to let go. How do you let go of your son or daughter? I mean, and I think, and I'd venture to say, if you're one of those that'll tell someone that, or tell a parent that, if you have children and you tell someone that, and I've said this before, pick one of yours you think you could live without. Just pick one. See if you can do that. Good luck with that. But so you want to be careful. And again, we have to be careful and selective of the people we're around, because it's uncomfortable as a bereaved parent to be around family members or friends and family early on, because their children are around you. So you're already feeling some type of way because your child is not in the bunch. And so you have to be careful of your feelings, and you have to be careful of things that are running through your head and you want to say or that you can't say, because you don't want to offend them. And see, we as bereaved parents, we deal with that too, where we don't want to say the wrong thing. We don't want to make you feel uncomfortable for being around us. And we fake it. That's when we really put on that other face and just try to get through that event or that time that we're around friends and family or whatever, and just to make it back home and melt and take the mask off and be in that moment. That's what we do. That's how we try our best to get through it. And so we have to be careful, as well as I'm asking our friends and family to be careful and understand that it's okay to grieve. And if we normalize grieving, whether, especially for parents, whether it be a grandmother, father, mother, whatever it is, grieve that loss. Grieve. So that we can get to a different place with it. It's not saying that you won't hurt. Don't make someone feel bad because they're not in that place where you are. And so I even with me, for myself, I had to be careful because I didn't want to, because I'm in a different place with it now. Like, I don't pretend or downplay my hurt and my pain. I feel and go through those very same emotions, experience those very same emotions that everyone else experience. I am in a place where I'm in a more accepting place of it, of the loss of my son. So I don't look down at others, because for so many, and I've shared this before, when I learn of a child's death, it doesn't matter the age, when I learn of that, my heart breaks, because now someone else is finna have to go through that horrible journey. It's a club that no one asks for. And we go through, and there's so many different phases and so many different roads that we travel while dealing with it and going through it, that you'll circle back to go through another part of the phase, one that you've already been through, and you're thinking, oh, I'm okay. I done been through that. I'm good. And you'll find yourself back at it, back in that, on that road, so we have to be careful and understand that there's no right or wrong way of grieving, and that you need to grieve the loss. Grieve. If that's posting pictures, if that's looking at pictures, if that's listening to a recording, going to their favorite place, whatever it is, do it. If it's going to help you, even if it brings out more tears, fine. You have to be okay with that. Be okay. And we, like I said, the people around you, it is so crucial to have the right people around you during those times. Even when you want to be alone, and there are times when you want to be alone. Be alone. It's okay. As long as you know you're not going to do harm to yourself, it's okay to be alone and feel that. There are times you're going to need to feel it. And I mean, really feel it. And it can be 5-6 years, and it'll still feel like yesterday. It'll still feel like today. And that's okay. And whatever it is that you're feeling in that moment, whatever it is that is coming to your mind, or in that moment, express it. It's okay that you're not okay. And we have to normalize. I can't say this enough. Normalize grieving and normalize saying that I'm not okay. Just admit it. I'm not okay. There were so many mornings, so many days where I had to start my day over on purpose. I deliberately, you know what? It's a horrible day. I got to start over. And I'd go back to sleep. I'd go back to bed. As hard as it was for me to get out the bed that morning, I went back. I would go back because it was hard. And I had to be okay with admitting that. No matter who it was that asked, if they asked, I start telling them, no, I'm not okay. It's a horrible day. I've had a horrible day. I've had phone calls and visits that were right on time. In fact, if I last week, I was driving and I was just riding around town, and I was heading to the house where my son passed away at, and 2 streets before I was 2 streets away from the house, and my phone rang, and someone that called and asked me to come help them do something. And I was like, I'm on my way, and I knew in that moment that was supposed to happen, and I was thankful. I was grateful for that. So sometimes the God will put those people in place for you to call you when you least expect it, and you're thinking they're annoying you or whatever it is because you don't want to be bothered. Happens. It's okay. But there's going to be some times when that phone call is going to come through, or that knock at the door is going to come through, and you're not going to be able to ignore it. You're going to have to go ahead and answer it, and it's okay because there's purpose in that. You never know how close or what you're capable of doing until I think you're grieving your child, the loss of your child. And there's some dangerous places that we can go if we're not careful. But we have to be able to admit it. We have to have the right people in place that know that you're not okay and that you can admit that you're not okay. And they understand, and either they're going to sit there with you and let you be and allow you to grieve, or they're going to leave. And that's how you weed out who's really there to help you and who's not. Who's really going to be. And then that's not saying nothing bad. Some people just can't handle it. And that's okay. But I think if you're one who can't handle it, say that. Call someone else you know that can. If you feel like it's there, that parent is at that point. I can't handle this. Hey, can you come over and sit? Blah, blah, blah. Don't leave them alone if you think it can be dangerous to them. Don't leave them alone, but understand, don't make them feel bad for their grief. No one can make you, even if it's not your child. It could be your mom, it could be your dad, it could be your uncle, whatever. You'll hit rough patches even in that. And you have to be okay with saying, I'm not okay. I'm not okay. And take that time when you feel it to cry, or scream, whatever it is that you feel like you need to do it, and know that it's okay that you do it. It's fine. And I think that, like I said earlier, there's a stigma on bereaved parents or grieving parents that, when it's early on, the first week or two, the death happens, everybody's loving and caring. Everybody is. After the funeral, when the real journey begins, Everybody, the visits are far and in between. The calls are far and in between, and you'll be able to weed them out because you'll be able to count them on one hand. Who's gonna, who you'll be able to depend on, and you have to be okay with that. I had to be okay with the fact that not because people don't understand what I'm dealing with or what I had to deal with, I had to be okay with that. It's not their fault. But in that first week, that when everybody's around you and they're, hey, you need anything, let me know. What would you need? I'm not okay. Don't ask me if I'm okay. No, I'm not okay. I'm horrible at this moment. And we mean well. Please don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm not coming down on you if you're a supporter or you really mean it and really try to be there for someone. I'm just saying there's certain things that we shouldn't say, but we have to normalize this and be okay with that. Our friend, our sister, our brother, our mom, our cousin, they're not okay. You're not okay. If you're having a day and it's hard on you in that moment, I understand. This having to bury my son has allowed me to see things so differently now. Like I see and feel things totally different than before. Things I thought I knew, I don't. Things I thought I wanted, I don't. And so I've been ever learning that this process and this journey, there were things that I did and said to other people that I meant well, but it wasn't until that shoe was on my foot that I truly got it. Like I really got it. And so I'm ever learning. I'm constantly growing, and I'm thankful. I'm grateful that I made it through it. I'm still making it through it. I still experience what I experienced, and it doesn't make me better. And I don't proclaim to be better than anyone. I'm just in a different place, and I'm thankful for that. Because there are times if I'm not careful, and you have to learn, parents, to know you and know yourself. One thing you need to have at least one or two people that you can be honest with, and that you can be able to be honest with about what you're feeling. There has to be at least two people. You need at least two people in your life that will uplift you when you need to be uplifted, understand when you just want to break down and have those breakdowns. That's okay. You need that. You also need to be okay with saying, I don't want to talk. Please understand, it's nothing personal. I just don't want to talk right now. I really need to take this time and deal with what I'm dealing with. And so the moment we become honest within ourselves and with ourselves, I think that becomes a turning point for healing. Like you deliberately will turn toward healing, because that's what you search for. You're searching for a peace. You're searching for understanding. And we get so used to telling ourselves that we can't question God, or we don't ask why. Why not? Who else are we going to ask? We're not taking God by surprise, right? So when you understand that we're not taking him by surprise, he knows. So if you have a question, if you want to know why, we may not like the answer he gives. He may not answer us right then, but once you travel the journey, you stay that course, because you're gonna go through it. You're gonna have more downs than ups in the early on, where it seems so heavy. But there will also come a time when he will give you that understanding and that peace. It will come, but you will have to go through what you go through. But you have to be honest with yourself. I had to be honest with myself. I fought and struggled with even with doing this, and I've shared this several times. I share this with people all the time. I struggle. I'd argued with God over and over again. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't have an understanding. I don't want to do it. Here I am. And I'm thankful, but I didn't fear the fact that he would strike me down because I didn't want to do it, or I didn't have the understanding or the peace that I was seeking. So I had to be honest with me. I was honest with God. I talked to God like how I'm talking to y'all. Hey, my guy, we need to talk. I need to hear you. I need to feel you and understand what is happening right now. I am not okay. And if I can say that to myself, I can say that to God. I can say that to anybody. I am not okay. Not right now. I am not. I'm not. And you choose, even when it's not us and it's someone else that we know. When we're in that, we switch roles. And if they tell us that you're not okay, they're not okay. Okay. What do you want to do? You want to sit here and let's cry together? You want to scream? What you want to do? I understand. You want to go lay down, start over? Do that. I'll be here when you get up, when you're ready. And so we have to be okay with telling each other that. Like if we really want to be a support system to each other and for each other, we have to be honest and tell ourselves that it's okay that we're not okay. No matter who you're grieving, because this show is specifically for bereaved parents, I'm speaking specifically to them, but anyone. It hurts. Grief hurts. Death hurts. Grief is love with no place to go. And we go through so many things mentally and emotionally throughout that journey that we'll travel the same road over and over again so many times, and we'll beat ourselves up about smiling. I think I went through from 2010 to 2015. It wasn't until Corey, my oldest son, graduated that I went and bought me some new clothes. I didn't want anything. It wasn't until he graduated that I was okay with smiling. I didn't want to smile. I didn't want to, and your child gone. How you gonna smile and your child is gone? And that's what parents deal with. That's what we go through, So you have to, eventually, if you're not there yet, it's okay. There's no problem with that. It'll come when it comes. But right now, I really want each of you to be okay with saying you're not okay. It's okay. It hurts. And we're going to grieve. And you need to take that time to grieve. You can't put a time limit on grief. You can't put a time limit on your tears. Eventually, that big wave that comes the first year, those big heavy waves that happen, eventually they'll slow down. There are going to be some moments when it comes and it's going to be heavy. Even when you've gotten so far, don't be disappointed in yourself that you went, you feel like how you felt. It's okay. Normalize saying, it's okay that I'm not okay. I want to thank you guys for joining us on tonight. That's it for tonight. I want to say if you have a loved one that has passed away and you would like them to be included in our slideshow every week, please don't hesitate to post them or inbox me. Follow us on Twitter, Parents Grief 101. Follow us on Instagram, Life After Loss, After Child Loss. Follow us on Facebook. Become a supporter. Cash App is on the screen. And check us out on Thursday for Black in America at 8 p.m. But again, remember, it's okay to not be okay. Also, check us out on YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe. I forgot that one. But we have to normalize grieving. It's okay to grieve. No matter when it happens, where you are, take the time to grieve. If we're going to be supporters and help someone get through that grief, please understand that there's certain things. Just be there. If that's what that's the role you're gonna play, you don't have to worry about trying to find something super spiritual or something so prolific to change their moment of thinking or whatever. You don't have to do that. Don't do that. Just be there. Even us, just be there for each other. Sit there and be that listening ear. Sit there and just calm them. It's okay. You're sitting there calms us sometimes, but normalize it. Even in your own life, as a supporter of someone who's grieving and bereaved, it's okay to just be there. It's okay that you're not okay. I love you guys, and thank you again for joining us. I'm Angela, and we'll see you next week.